Haley and welcome to my kitchen. So I'm at home right now in my kitchen filming, which I've never filmed in my kitchen before because I mean I'm a book channel, so like why would I film in my kitchen? But that's what we're doing today. So you guys might not know, but I do really like cooking and it's something that I do pretty often. Baking is something that see, I like cooking and baking is kind of complicated and cooking can be complicated at times. And my one thing with cooking is it's kind of a love-hate relationship because I will get very frustrated and if things aren't going my way, I could just get very sad and very mad about it. But we are gonna hope that this cake is going to go fine. I've never baked this cake before, so I guess we'll find out. So I'll link the recipe down below for you guys, but it is a chocolate brownie cake, which sounds delicious to me. So for my ingredients, I needed unsalted butter. I have all the ingredients ready to go here. I also have flour, and then I need to make sure, is this, yes. I also have bread flour, so I wanted to make sure this was the right flour. And then I have dark chocolate pieces. I had to get 2 bags to have enough. Also pecan pieces, or pecan, whatever you want to say. And some icing sugar, or castor sugar as the recipe calls it, because it is a British recipe. Also I have 3 eggs, which imagine if I dropped these right now, that would be the funniest thing, and this video would not go viral, but in my head it would be. So I have the oven preheating, and now I'm going to get started with the cake. So I wanted to do this video because I feel like I've been putting so much pressure on myself recently to come up with like really good and like new and exciting video ideas, and it's just been putting so much pressure on me that it's made it not that fun. So I'm sorry if you guys have noticed that and it feels like my heart isn't in making videos anymore. I just wanted to make like great content, and I was so creatively exhausted from writing and it was just an absolute mess. So now I'm trying to get back into it and we're gonna do it. I'm gonna come up with some fun ideas and keep it fun and something that I enjoy doing. But the same thing kind of happened with my reading last year. I kind of like fell out of love with reading a little bit, and what I ended up doing this year, I discovered adult romance and it has changed my life. Like reading these cute and fluffy romances instead of feeling like I have to read all these like really popular fantasies and stuff has been life-changing, and oh, it has been great. I feel like I should have read this recipe ahead of time, but did I? No, I read the ingredients list and that was it. I don't even think I need my mixer. Okay, so I don't think I need my mixer, but I do need a pan to melt some chocolate. So I feel like baking this cake is going to take a million years longer than it normally would because I keep on having to like move my filming equipment and everything. This may have been a really bad idea, but like, it's fine, we're committed now. So I am supposed to take 175 grams of the chocolate and put it in here with butter and sugar. So I don't want to measure it. So baking with Haley step 1, don't measure. So we have 200 grams here. That is almost 175 grams. So like, I'm gonna kind of eyeball it. Like, I know baking is precise and you're supposed to measure, but I'm a lazy asshole, okay? Feels like 175 grams. Nailed it. So I need about 3/4 of a cup of unsalted butter. So I'm gonna get that out now. So I followed the measurements on the butter packaging, and this looks like about 3/4 of a cup of butter. I hope it is. It seems like a lot of butter, but I'm trying my best, okay? And now I need 200 grams of icing sugar, and I know that 200 grams is a cup, so I can easily measure that. Should have switched to this angle earlier, but I didn't. I'm sorry, but we are here now. So I am now melting all of the stuff that I put in this pot or pan, whatever you call it. So I'm letting that melt, and it said to do it gently, so I have it at like 4 on the scale of temperature, whatever the hell that means. But I wish you could smell it, because you can smell that melting chocolate and it smells great. So I'm making a mess, which is generally what I do when I'm cooking, is it becomes an absolute mess. I do clean it up, but it definitely becomes a mess before it's good. Much like romance novels, which is what I was going to talk about today, isn't it? So getting into romance has been great because it's kind of like, when I was feeling like books weren't really that fun anymore, it really brought the fun back into books. And I'm not saying that's all I want to read now, but it definitely opened my eyes to the fact that like there's so much more out there other than YA, which I've always known, but I've always been like really attached to YA and kind of been like, I don't think I would like the other things, but giving it a chance really changed my perspective on that, which was really awesome actually. So one of the romances that I've read recently that I think was so adorable and so good, and I haven't really gotten the chance to talk about it yet on my channel because I read it that recently, but I'm sure you guys have heard of it because it's been everywhere, but that is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I had really high expectations going into it because it was so hyped up. Like, leading up to its release, everyone was talking about it, and it just was getting these wild, crazy reviews. The only time that I've actually talked about it is I did mention it in my recent If You Liked This, Then You'll Like This video, because I think if you like the Prince Charming companion duology by Rachel Hawkins, then you would really like it. And that's another really cute romance. Like, specifically, Her Royal Highness has an adorable female-female romance, and it is just so good, so fun. Princess Flora definitely made that book for me. She's a great character, and I think that Red, White, and Royal Blue is kind of the adult version of that, but in Red, White, and Royal Blue, what I liked about it is you also got politics, and you also got like an A-B plot line. So you still had the romance that is definitely the central focus of it, but there was also stakes involved, and I feel like that's sometimes where I struggle with romances, is when there aren't really the stakes involved, and I don't feel like the stakes are high enough. But like, this was a romance between Prince Henry of England and the first son of the President of the United States, and it was just so good. I loved all the characters, and their romance was just so much fun to read about, but it was also like heartwarming, but also sad at the same time. There were so many times that it just pulled at my heartstrings, and I just loved it a lot. So that was a great gay romance, and I think that everyone should definitely give that book a chance because that was a really fun and cute and hard-hitting gay romance, and I think that it definitely packed a punch, but was still light and fluffy enough for me to feel like I was reading a romance book, if that makes sense. Now, the romance book that introduced me to it all, and is still one of my favorites, and really my favorite author duo when it comes to romances so far, is Christina Lauren, and the book that introduced me to it was Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating, which was recommended to me by Zoe from Read by Zoe, and I don't know why I took a chance on it, but I did. Like, I just decided to, and then I just loved the characters so much. For me, characters are so important when it comes to adult romances and romance in general. I need to care about the characters, and I need to love the characters. If I don't have that connection with the characters, then I think I'll struggle a little bit more with the romance, just because for me, romance is such a character-based genre. But Josh and Hazel, in terms of being a romance, is like, it's a pretty basic romance, but there's just something about it that was so fun, and I loved Hazel's character and I loved Josh's character, but like, Hazel's character for me was like just the right amount of quirky where it wasn't annoying and it wasn't like, oh, I'm quirky. It was just, she was very different, and her and Josh were very different, but their chemistry was just so good that I was just like, yes, chef's kiss. It was amazing. And I'm really glad that I gave that book a chance. It ended up making me read the rest of their romance books, except for the Beautiful Bastard series, which I think I read the first one like way back in the day, but I like a certain level of smut, and those are like a little bit too smutty for me. The other one that I haven't read yet is Dating You, Hating You, because I wasn't sure if that was one that I would like. So if you've read it, then please let me know if I would like it. But we now have melted our chocolate and sugar and butter, yay! So while that's cooling, I have to separate the egg yolks from the egg whites, which is something that I hate doing, but it's gonna be fine. So my mom does at least have this handy little contraption that like does most of the work for you, or else I would never be able to do it. So I'm kind of cheating, but whatever. Speaking of cheating, don't like that in romance novels. Not a fan. I don't think I've read one that involves cheating yet, but I'm definitely very picky about which tropes I do like. So while I do the eggs, speaking of tropes that I like, I feel like my favorite trope has to be kind of like, I don't know if it would be friends. Well, I guess friends to lovers is definitely one that I really like, but specifically I really love when it's like an old relationship that could have been that finally comes to be. I just get like so much satisfaction from that slow burn, but I also like hate slow burn because I want the satisfaction right away. You know, it's really a love-hate relationship there, but hate to love is kind of one that I'm very picky about. So The Hayden Game by Sally Thorne is one that I've read that I did like, but it definitely took me a while to get there and to get to the point where I did like it, because I felt like the foundation for their hatred was kind of weak, and then I felt like he was really mean and kind of like unnecessarily mean, which doesn't do anything for me. So then when he started being, I can't even remember his name right now, but when he started being romantic and really sweet, like there were certain scenes that did have me like swooning, but it did take me a while to get there. And Sally Thorne, her other book, 99% Mine, I read that and I actually DNF'd it. I didn't get very far into it at all. The writing was very weird and I kind of struggled with that, but The Hayden Game was like a solid book. I think I gave it like 3.5 out of 5 stars. So now that I have my egg whites, I'm supposed to whisk them into my chocolate mixture. I whisk there was an adult romance like By Your Side by Casey West. Do you see what I did there? Puns! But what I mean by that is I really liked By Your Side because it was kind of a book lover's romance. I haven't read it in a long time, but it starts out with the characters being stuck in a library, and I'm sure that there are adult romances out there that are like that, but I just haven't gotten the chance to read them yet. So let me know if you have, because I'd definitely be interested in it. But that was just such a cute YA romance that I think seeing it in adult and maybe like a little bit steamier, you know, I wouldn't be mad about it. I'm not yoking. I would really like to read that book. Do you get it? Because it's egg yolks. I need to be stopped. So a romance that I read and I really didn't expect to like, but I ended up liking a lot, was The Bride Test by, no, not The Bride Test. What's the first one called? It's the one by Helen Huang. I forget what the first one called. The Kiss Quotient. Wow, struggles. So The Bride Test is the companion sequel, and I haven't gotten the chance to read that one yet, but I do own it. But I thought that that one was maybe going to be a little bit too smutty for me, which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with smut. It's just like I can only handle so much of it before I'm like, this is a bit too much for me. But I went into The Kiss Quotient knowing nothing about it except for the fact that it featured Own Voice's representation for autism spectrum disorder. Then I found out that she hires a male escort to teach her like relationship things, and particularly sex, because that's not something she's good at. And I was kind of like, that might be a bit much for me, but I actually really liked it. I thought it was like the perfect level of smut, and I don't think I could go any more than that, but it was like a really good, solid read. So if you opened the recipe and you're reading it right now, or you've done this recipe, you know that I just made a grave error. I was supposed to whisk in the egg yolks, not the egg whites. And I'm not yoking about that. Fuck. So this is the part where I call my mom and see if she can help me, or if I have to start again. Yay! So my mom's expert opinion was to just add more egg whites in later, so I'm just gonna continue following the recipe and pretend that didn't happen. So now I'm whisking in the egg yolks like I was originally supposed to, but I didn't because I'm not a Ravenclaw like Zoe and I don't read instructions, clearly. I wish I knew how to read. So now I'm going to add the flour, the nuts, and the remaining chocolate before going back to the egg white step that I messed up earlier. Supposed to be 3 egg whites, but I'm just gonna do 2. I'm gonna hope for the best. So now I'm supposed to whisk the egg whites until they form soft white peaks, and I don't really know how that's gonna happen, but I'm gonna try. So I'm gonna use this whittle whisk to try and do that. I don't know if I'm doing this right. One romance author that I haven't gotten into yet that I really want to try, and quite a few of you guys have recommended to me, is K.A. Tucker. I know she has a book that just came out, and I think the other one is The Simple Wild. I've just been rereading Harry Potter lately, so I haven't like gone and gotten the books, but I think that they sound really good. They sound like they're going to be like kind of a bit emotional and hard-hitting. That's kind of, I think, what people have said to me, unless I'm just making that up, which also could be an option. I see no white peaks. But if there are any other authors that you think I should try, let me know. I will say I'm very superficial, and I will acknowledge that, but I have a hard time being interested in like the mass market paperback romances with the covers that have like actual people on them. There's just something about them that seems really corny to me, and I know like I'm judging a book by its cover and that's horrible, but like I just can't help it. I like the ones with like the illustrated pretty covers. Wow, I sound like Regina George right now, but like whatever, at least I'm acknowledging that I sound like a bitch. So I don't think I did that right, but That's as good as it's gonna get. Woo! So now I am supposed to gently fold them into the chocolate mixture. I hope that this cake is good because I'll be real sad if it's not. What I've noticed with like reading romances and like paying more attention to what other people think of romances is that there are so many people who like love the enemies to lovers trope. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but like, it's just not my favorite. I don't know. I like the sweet romances that are like love stories. Like, I think that's why I really enjoyed Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren, because that one was like a true love story. Like, it wasn't so much about the sex, and like, obviously the sex scenes are great too. I'm not complaining about that, but I also love the emotional depth that you get with a love story like that. Like, that one spanned across such a long period of time that it just pulled me entirely into the story, and like, I was absolutely hooked and felt like they were real people, and it was like a real romance that I was getting into. So that was a really interesting reading experience, and I don't know. I like it when they're emotional love stories, which is really funny because I'm dead inside. So I have folded in the other egg whites, and now I need to grease a pan, which I should have done earlier, but I didn't, so I'm gonna do that. Pour my mixture in and hope for the best. So now I have my cake here, and it is to go in the oven for 45 minutes, so yay! So I'm just gonna let that bake, and then I will update you guys when it's ready.
3 hours later.
Cake is out of the oven. I attempted to dust it with icing sugar, but instead it kind of looks like it snowed on top of it, and there is something that I want to say, but it would get me demonetized, so I'm not gonna say that, but just know that I'm thinking it if you are also thinking it. But I haven't tried it yet. I'm letting it cool a little bit, and then I'm going to try a piece of it. But yeah, this is my little brownie cake. It's just a little baby. It kind of looks sad, but like, it smells really good, so I'm still hopeful. I should have shaped this cake like a heart, but that was way too advanced for me. But if I had a heart cake pan, then I could have done, oh, that would have been great. Maybe next time, if you guys like this video. I don't even know. So I cut myself an itty bitty baby piece, and I feel like it actually looks like it's gonna be pretty good, but I haven't tasted it yet, so let's see. It tastes like a brownie. I was worried that adding the extra egg might make it taste like egg, but I think it's pretty good. It tastes like a brownie. I feel like that is mission successful. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Like I said, I know it's really different than what I usually do, but I hope you guys still liked it. I had fun doing it. I don't really know how it's gonna turn out after I'm done editing because I feel like I was all over the place, but it's really hard to focus on baking and following a recipe as well as talking about things. So please let me know if you want me to do more videos like this in the future, and maybe I can make it something that I'll do frequently. I don't really know, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to click that subscribe button if you want to see more videos from me, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!